Hi there. So, this week I wanted to just bring up the idea of observation and noting the things that we have around us that we never actually observe. We may see them, but we never observe them. We never take them in. We never pay attention enough to them to have it remembered. And if you don't believe me in this regard, without looking around, try and tell me how many light bulbs are in your house. This is something you should see every day, but not something that we choose to remember. The only reason you would know is if you had to specifically count it out, if you had to go buy light bulbs before, if you had to go replace a specific moment, or you added value to the placement of them all. It's this thing that is, from my point of view, what we've had from just general evolution. The idea of, oh, that is not important to my survival right now, therefore I don't need to remember it anymore. And as useful as that is in actually paying attention to the things that are harmful and could potentially lead to our doom, it's also this aspect of a world around us that we never properly observe. There's the old saying, stop to smell the roses. And it's good to keep that mindset of just slowing down and observing things around you, but I've tried to make it a conscious effort to be paying attention to the things around me that people usually don't. When I walk into a room, I look up, I see what's around me. I try and remember different aspects that people don't. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this. There are a lot of people that observe the world around them, be it for inspiration or just because they enjoy having that information stored away somewhere. And throughout all of this, I've been in the position to be able to teach a few students this sort of observation technique as well. And I'm not sure if they still do it, but the idea was when I saw people actually paying attention to their surroundings, there was a change in the way that they were seeing the world. There was a change in the way that they were interacting with it. And I'm not trying to say this as I've been seeing the world where you guys have not. That's a little bit wanky and not really my sort of thing. But I wanted to bring up that first context was because in the recent week and a bit, my life has changed. There's just been a lot going on and things that have gone, oh, okay, this is now the new sort of form. Nothing terribly bad, but it made me stop and observe the world once again in a way that I haven't. Previously, I've dabbled in the idea of looking at, oh, okay, well, this is where my world could lead. These are the things around me. These are the people I'm interacting with. And as much as I like to think that I'm aware of the world around me, there is still so much that I am completely and absolutely blind to. And it's not that I don't see it, it's that I don't observe it. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this today, because there is so much in this world that I don't observe. And I'm sure there are people that, when they see me not observing things, would just go, how does he not see this? How does he not do this? Because I can see that becoming that. And it's the whole you can't see the forest for the trees. You think you may be looking at a forest, but let's face it, it's a single leaf. And how much more is capable to be observed, but we just don't do it because we have either been taught not to, or we just innately go, that's not important to my survival, therefore I don't need to remember that. And it's this really interesting sort of dichotomy of wanting to observe, but because I'm actively wanting to observe some things, I'm blind to others. I like to go back to the whole jumping flea study. I can't remember who did it, but it's an amazing thing, whether it's real or not. I believe it's real. But basically there was a scientist that got a bunch of jumping fleas and put them in a jar. And these fleas would jump and jump and jump. And at a certain point, they would keep jumping and hit their head on the lid of this little bottle that they're on. And over time, they learnt not to jump as high. They learnt not to be hurting themselves in jumping to the roof of this thing and hitting their heads. Until eventually, the scientist removed the lid. And the thing was, they still didn't jump high. They didn't observe that that lid is now gone. That limitation was gone. Because all they knew was if you jump that high, you're going to get hit back down. That's just the reality of what they observed. That's the reality of what they were living. And they didn't take the time to realize that outside of that, there was more. We are all those fleas in some regard, I believe. Because there is this aspect of not knowing what's out there, and therefore we're not jumping past what we know because there is safety in what we know. But likewise, we don't know that we can go further. We may have an implication of it, but we don't know where to start, where to jump to, where to jump out of. And when you get sort of these realizations like I've had in the past week of, oh, there's a lot more, but not knowing where to jump, it's a scary thought. It really is, because you have to fundamentally go, well, who am I? Where am I going? And am I willing to take a jump where I don't know where it leads? I've always liked to think that because of my nature, be it like physical observation of things around me and trying to understand the game of the world around me, I've been quite good thus far in seeing where I'm jumping. Sure, there have been times where I'm like, oh, well, I guess now I'm teaching at a university. And I couldn't see that in the cards. But it was a very quick jump. I didn't have the time to properly react until I was already there. And as much as I realized that luck is a case of hard work and the right time being put together, it still feels like right now I could be going for many lucky opportunities, but I'm just not seeing them. I'm not really sure where this is going, personally. Usually I have an inclination as to where these videos are going. But right now it really is just a stream of consciousness trying to get this out. I'm definitely going to be jumping. I know that much. I don't like being stagnant, as I've covered in previous videos, but I'm not sure where I'm jumping to. And I'm at a case where I'm not sure whether I should try to observe more, whether I should jump, because right now I'd be jumping without knowing where I'm going, and there should still be some sort of inclination as to where I'm going. I'm not sure where that is yet, and eventually I'm sure I'll land somewhere, and at the end of the day I'll be fine. I remember being taught at a very young age that I could screw up for another 10 years and still be young enough to start again, no matter what. And although that is a comforting thought, it is also this aspect of, oh, well, everything will be fine, even if there is struggle. But there's still this barrier stopping me from taking those leaps, taking those jumps. And I think it's because of the observation. I think it's because I'm not sure how to observe myself. I'm sure you've always had that aspect like I have of seeing other people's potential, but finding it hard to find your own because there is so much going on in your head, be it your voice, be it that voice in the back of your head that obviously is not yours, and trying to figure out the balance between them. Objectively, yes, I realise that I have been very fortunate in what I've been doing, but also I've been very successful in what I've done thus far. I'm 26, I've had careers as freelancers, as an animator, as a teacher, lecturer, and basically subject coordinator at a university level from 23 to now. That's an insane accomplishment. I'm not trying to shy away from that, but it's also an aspect of I'm not sure if that identity is something I'm trying to hold on to. And because of the success I've had thus far, I don't want to take the jump into something new that may take that away from me where I'm starting at zero. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's that I don't want to observe the reality of what's coming next. Maybe I'm the tree and blocking my own sight to the forest. It's food for thought anyway. I'm not trying to be all sort of oh, woe is me. I realise I'm in a very fortunate position. And it's just an interesting point right now of me trying to observe myself. But yeah, if you've gotten anything from this, I hopefully haven't put you into a, complete, utter mental shutdown. But it's definitely something I know that I need to do, and if I need to hear it, then I'm sure there's at least one person out there in the world that also needs to hear it. That observing yourself is both one of the best and hardest things you need to do, and it is something I'm going through right now. So, on the other side of this, hopefully these documentations of my thought will be something I can look back on and go, that was it. I know I couldn't see it back then, but that is it right there. So yeah, I'll leave it there, and once again, thank you for watching. If you've made it this whole way through, I really do appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you next time.